Poppin' Off presents Fantasy versus Reality.
Hey everybody, I am Danny Otto. Welcome into another episode of Fantasy versus Reality. This episode, we're going to be talking about stuff from the Loki DisneyPlus series. To help me do all of that, it's producer Paul.
What is up, population? It is MCU time again.
It is MCU time again. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's jump right in.
All right, so the statement we have for this episode is, after the events of the Loki Disney Plus series, the alternate timeline Loki will join the main MCU timeline. Paul, what do you think? Is this fantasy or reality?
I'm going to go with this is a fantasy on this one, but I'm going to kind of play around with it a bit. So we know that Loki going into this series is the Loki we know from the first Avengers movie. He's still got all the issues that we've seen the current version of Loki who died in Infinity War. We saw him go through the process of growing as a character and then dying off in Infinity War. I think that this series for Loki is going to be 6 episodes of him jumping all around history and timelines and everything. But in the end, he's going to learn enough that he is actually going to replace the current timeline version of Loki before the events of Infinity War. He gets killed off, and the Loki who's actually had growth up to this point will be the one in the MCU going forward. I don't think that Tom Hiddleston is going anywhere. He seems to have, at the time of his life, acting as Loki. We don't know if he's got bigger things coming down the line. He's always been a name for James Bond as a potential casting. So who knows? He may want to be done with the character. So this might be the final series that we see on Loki. It would make sense because anti-heroes, it seems like that is kind of the path of trajectory that their character arcs in order to kind of dramatically finish in a way that feels right and satisfying. Because Loki is a villain at his heart at the beginning of the MCU. We've seen the growth. He had a very clean ending in Infinity War, but I don't see Tom Hiddleston going anywhere if Marvel is offering those big bucks. But Danny, what do you think? Is this a fantasy or a reality?
Now, you had me because I like your theory. I like your theory a lot. We're not very far off. I do think, though, that this is a reality. I think that everything you said, basically, but just kind of a little bit twisted. So I think that this Loki, this time variant Loki, is going to go through all of that character development through the Disney Plus series. And after it, he's going to have the character growth that we've come to love in the Infinity War version of Loki, in the main MCU timeline version of Loki. And I think just like with Gamora's death in Infinity War, and then the Gamora from the past comes forward, I think Loki is going to come, this variant Loki is going to come from the past and be a permanent fixture in the MCU after Infinity War. I think even if it's for a movie, we'll get the Loki that we've known and loved with that character development of playing the odds, not always a good guy, not always a bad guy, somewhere in between, the gray area, something like that. But I think he's going to become that character post Infinity War and be into the main MCU.
We have a Hulk.
Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think? Do you agree with Paul? Do you think that this is fantasy and it's actually going to be him taking the spot of the original Loki pre-events of Infinity War? Or do you agree with me that this is reality and that he's going to come back into the main MCU timeline after the events of Infinity War and Endgame and be that character with that character growth that we've come to love from this Loki character? Let us know in the comments. Or is that it? That's the third option.
This could be the final time we get to see Loki.
It's possible. Anything's possible at this point, which is great, which is so much fun. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? What do you think of the series? What are you excited to find out in the series? Let us know everything. And don't forget, as always, like, subscribe, turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest video releases. Bye, everybody!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This episode is going to concern the upcoming Loki Disney Plus series, and to help me do all of that, that sounded bad. Sorry. All right, so the statement we got this week is the post Infinity War and be into the main MCU. So that's what I think. Guys, let us know in the comments.